Do you know how the oil buried deep underground is extracted? How is it extracted? First, you need a vehicle specially designed to generate earthquakes. The continuous vibration signals are converted into pulse signals. Then the data reflected back. Finally, the location of the oil is found. But don't get too excited too soon. How to extract oil from 4,000 meters deep underground. Extracting oil is no small challenge. You thought that as long as the drill bit is hard enough, you can succeed. However, the heat generated by friction not only burned out the drill bit, but also ignited the gas in the rock fissures. So, being clever, came up with the idea of spraying water into the borehole to lubricate and cool it down. At the same time, the water can also flush away the rock fragments. However, before long, the borehole collapsed. Because the pressure of ordinary water is difficult to balance with the rock formation pressure. Therefore, you need to, according to different rock formations, formulate different types of specialized drilling fluids, control its density, to ensure the wellbore pressure is maintained in balance, to prevent a collapse accident. Soon after you drill through this underground water layer, it is also necessary to run a casing string into the wellbore. Then pump cement slurry into the casing. They will run along the bottom, pushed into the annular space between the casing and the wellbore, forming a cement ring. This step is called cementing, used to isolate the oil, gas, and water formations. This relates to the production and lifespan of the subsequent oil well. However, sometimes, in order to protect the surface environment, the oil well does not go straight up and down. Instead, a curved approach is used, avoiding the ecological preservation area above the oil field. When drilling into the oil and gas formation, and after completing the relevant tests, the drilling equipment on the wellhead can then be removed, and install the valve. Then use a cable to lower the perforating gun, transported to the location where the casing needs to be perforated. The perforating bullets are detonated by an electric detonator. They penetrate through casing and cement layers, and further penetrate 300,500 millimeters into the formation. Then, using the principle of liquid pressure transmission, fracturing fluid is pumped into the casing, causing the just created perforations to generate numerous fractures, and thus increase oil production, and so on. Usually, 15 to 20 holes are shot every meter. Each hole needs to create numerous fractures with the fracturing fluid. After removing the packer, the oil will flow naturally. But that's not enough. On top of that, a pump jack is used to continuously pull out the oil and transport it to nearby tanks. Here, the oil mixture is separated into water and gas, and then, through pipelines, it's sent to refineries thousands of kilometers away. It is said that the already discovered onshore oil and gas resources can only be exploited for just over 40 years. Thankfully, we still have abundant oceans. At least 60 years of oil production can be carried out in the Bohai Sea oil field alone. However, compared to the pump jacks costing 50 to 60,000 on land, the construction cost of offshore drilling platforms often reaches several hundred million. It is supported by large buoyancy tanks and floats on the sea surface, and can be towed for navigation. Some drilling towers are equipped with propellers at the bottom. They are secured in place by anchors, anchor cables, and anchor chains. Once they reach the drilling site, the buoyancy tanks at the bottom of the drilling tower gradually submerge below sea level, so they don't sway with the waves. On the drilling platform, the tallest tower is the lifting system, crucial for underwater drilling. The surrounding cranes are used to transport supplies. The small house is the living quarters for the crew. Of course, a helipad is indispensable. In addition, there are lifeboats and a large supply of fresh water and fuel. The one at the end is not a crane, still a chimney. During the process of oil extraction, it is necessary to burn off some harmful gases. Offshore drilling faces more challenges compared to onshore drilling. Faces more challenges. From the beginning, the drill bit needs to be placed inside a casing, because the seabed sand is prone to collapse. After drilling a certain depth, the drill bit is pulled out and replaced with a smaller casing. The deeper the drilling, the smaller the casing below becomes. The greatest fear in offshore drilling is a blowout, due to the high pressure at the seabed, which can lead to serious accidents. Fortunately, the blowout preventer provides multiple layers of protection. In critical moments, it can even use sharp blades to cut off the oil pipe and permanently seal the well. After all, in the event of a large oil spill at sea, it would be a catastrophic destruction of marine ecology. However, drilling platforms do not store oil, but rather pump it directly into subsea pipelines and transport it to onshore facilities. The refining of petroleum. It's actually like boiling water. The overheated oil turns into vapor. As it rises and cools down, the vapor turns back into liquid, forming distinct layers inside the equipment. It can be collected and separated based on different weights. Through atmospheric distillation, it can refine into natural gas, gasoline, kerosene, and diesel. Through vacuum distillation, it can refine into lubricating oil, paraffin, and others. Through petroleum catalysis and cracking, it can refine into light oil and gaseous olefins. Although petroleum has changed human society, but about its formation reasons, there has never been a consensus.